So massive action. Let's talk about massive action. What the hell is massive action? So what that means to me and what it represents, what it symbolizes is really just getting out of that false belief system that was programmed in us at a young age. And a little bit about my story is like age of 3, had some wonderful parents. My dad was in the Marines. My mom, very young, she was a manager, Dairy Queen. Older brother was All-American, sports, honor student, scout leader, church deacon. My sister was, daddy's little girl, had everything she wanted, and then my dad, I'm not sure mentally what he was going through, but he took his life. And my mom, that was her rock. Like he had the blueprints. He had the blueprints. He had the strategies. She was just the support system. And one day to the next, all that was gone. So my mom, as any other parent would probably do, is go right into survival mode. Go into how am I gonna take care of these kids? Where are we gonna live? How am I gonna provide for them? And so, she went to seek out family members. So she moved from Bay City, Texas to Corpus Christi, Texas. Bay City population's about 50,000, maybe less, to population 300,000. She started going to work. She tried to find a job. Single mom, working a full-time job. And basically was like, okay, well, you're gonna go into the school system and you'll be good. We're in a bigger city. You'll be good, right? Well, the transition was so overwhelming. I never could adjust. I never could adjust because I just didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought I just didn't know what the hell was going on. And so I tried to just be a good kid. I was, acting out, getting in trouble. I guess to seek attention, I would get in trouble and disrupt the class. And so people would laugh at me. That's how I kind of made friends, because I was like the joker, and I would get in trouble, and kids would laugh at me and like laugh with me or be my friends because, I was funny. Well, then I quickly got labeled as someone that probably wasn't going to be very successful based on the fact that I was disruptive. And, I had learning disabilities. And so at a young age, they gave me these labels. And I would hear the labels. I would hear, this kid, we're gonna move this kid to this class because, he has issues, he has learning disabilities. So we're gonna put him in your class. Like that was the conversations I overheard, right? Like, he needs to be in this class because, he's a little slower than everybody else and we don't want him to fall behind. So we're gonna move him to this class. And that's kind of like my whole education life is kind of what I heard. So middle school got worse. Middle school got worse because, drugs, gangs, and girls came into the picture. And mind you, my mom was a single mom working, so I had a lot of free time. I had a lot of free time to say, hey mom, I'm gonna go stay at my friend's this weekend. His mom said it's okay. Okay, you're gonna stay all weekend? Yeah, I'll be out there all weekend. Okay, that's fine. Just be careful. Don't, make sure you stay at home and make sure, And so I didn't even have a friend. I would just be out in the streets all weekend, staying at different people's houses, going to different parties, getting involved with the wrong people. And I just did this every other weekend, and my mom never knew, She always thought I was at someone's house or that I was in good hands, but I was really just running the streets. And for a while, I was like kind of proud to be, street smart, and I knew a lot of people, and started seeing how you can make money in the streets. And high school year, 9th grade, I had my girlfriend at the time, my kid's mom, had twin boys. And shit, that was like another shocker, right? It's crazy because like I wasn't even able to process it. Like I didn't have time to think about it, or what was I just, as like a parent, right? I just went into that survival mode, kind of like my mom did. I said, oh shit, I need to do something. I need to do something now. I need to act. And so we were talking about this yesterday, like your dreams and your goals. That whole section of the mindset got kind of deleted for a while, because it wasn't even, you can't go for your dreams anymore because you have 2 kids now. You have to provide for them. You have to get a job. You have to figure out what you're gonna do, and you need to do it quick. So, you don't have time to dream. And I think massive action. Well, I don't think I know massive action is really a symbol to say, hey, you know what? Like, it doesn't require some massive action to re-engage that dreaming part of you, that desire, that passion, that what do you really want to do? Like, what are you really passionate about? What are your dreams? Like, what do you really want to accomplish? Massive action is just a trigger to activate that. It's almost like, it's not even like, it's like a pill, but it's a symbol. You see it, you hear about it, you become part of the family. You say, man, I'm part of this massive action. It's like a support group, but it's bigger than a support group. It's a multi-millionaire mindset group, and that's what massive action is about, man. Like, is reigniting that part of the mind of your life of what was lost, and say, you know what? Like, yes, I lost that, but because I lost this, I'm gonna gain so much more because I learned so much. I'm gonna take what I've learned, and I'm gonna use that to re-trigger this part of my mind, and really just fucking take it to the next level. Like, like I said, so then 9th grade happened, twin boys. I went to work in the collision industry, like the body shop industry. Started off as a porter, washing cars, cleaning the shop. And man, I just like really stuck to what I did. I just worked, invested myself into the industry, just stayed committed to it. I mean, that's all I can do. That's all I knew how to do. And that's the only one that wanted to give me a job based on like how crazy I was as far as like my behavior, I was just out of control. Like, and so my boss, the good thing, I think one thing about my boss, his name was Ivan, he saw something in me that maybe no one ever saw. He's like, hey, like, I'm gonna give you a chance. And so I was loyal to him, and I said, let me know what you want me to do. And stayed with him for a long time till he actually moved on to a different business, like a different shop. And he's like, hey, like, you know, you have the skills now. You can probably find a job by yourself, and because you're pretty good. And so I just started to go look for work myself in the same industry, and I got a job at another body shop, at a dealership. I grew some more from there, and you know, something about me was like, hey, like, you know, it's weird because there was a point in my life I had to make a decision. Like, it was like, are you gonna work for someone all your life, or are you gonna work for yourself? And I remember, like, I just committed to I said, I'm gonna work for myself. Like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna commit to start a business. I'm gonna try to figure it out. And it took me years of just trying to figure it out, you know, because for a long time I was a technician. Like, I did the work in the shop. I would go to the office, I would go to the shop, and I would be the technician. I would try to do the office work. I was trying to do this. And so I didn't have no structure. I didn't have no marketing. I didn't have no process. I didn't have no like accounting system. Like, it was just like raw business. Like, you know, you can pay me cash, and I'll figure it out later. But it wasn't until like years later I started getting more educated on business. And one thing that I learned, it was like, I always like down myself because I didn't have an education, right? I didn't have like a good education, and I always beat myself up because of that, right? I would always beat myself up, and it wasn't until I said, you know what, like, it's kind of better that I don't have an education, because I can educate myself on what exactly I want to know. So so I consume myself in business content, branding, team building, just consume myself in it, and eventually, after years, it just started to kind of slowly build. Like, business started to slowly build, and it started to make transitions, and it wasn't until like a couple of people that I knew said, man, like you're kind of different. Like, you're different. You run your business different. Like, you kind of know, like, it seems like you know what you're doing now, right? And shit, that took a long time though, right? But it all went back to like me saying, okay, like, what made me do that? What made me shift, and what made me want to change? And really, I had to take some massive action. Like, I had to take some massive action to change that, to redevelop that, to say, hey, you know what? Like, I don't want to live this average life anymore. I don't want my kids to see me living an average life. And so I just committed to the massive action mindset, you know, and massive action mindset doesn't sleep. Like, it's, you know, it's always activated, you know, because how you show up is everything. Like, how you decide to show up and how you decide to present yourself to the world is everything. So massive action just saying, hey, like, if you expect to get to that next level, if you expect to, you know, build those relationships, if you expect to influence and inspire, you know, your family members, your kids, you got to take some action, like some massive action, not just normal action. Like, you got to take some massive action, because you're operating in the red zone. You're operating in the red, and we need to get out of that red, and we need to start seeing some results. And so that's what massive action is about, man. So massive action, if you're in a spot where, man, you're like, I feel like I think Coach said it yesterday, static. If you're static, you know, if you're static and you're like, man, I don't feel like I'm where I want to be, I feel like I'm beating myself up. Or if you're descending, he said, if you're descending, like, if you feel like you're going down. For a long time, I felt like I was going down because, you know, I was just involved with the wrong people. Like, I thought my friends were I looked at my environment. That's what it was. I looked at my environment and I said, you know what? If I stay in this environment, this is going to be the result of this environment. So I decided to change my environment. And was it hard? Hell yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But massive action. You got to take massive action to change the environment. Why is it hard? Because people are going to say, oh, well, you know, you're not cool. You don't want to be our friends anymore. You don't want to hang out with us. Like, you don't want to drink with us anymore. Like, you don't want to, you know, do these things. I mean, think about it. Like, say you're in a gang, right? And I mean, most gang members, like, once they realize, hey, like, I'm either going to be in jail or I'm going to die, should they take massive action? They say, I need to change my environment. That's a good example of massive action. You've seen that. You've heard of the stories. Hey, you know, this guy was an ex-gang member, and he, you know, look at you know, those interviews with the mob, right? Patrick Bet-David does those interviews with the mob, and Michael and Sammy the Bull. Look at those interviews. Those dudes, they had to make a decision, a mental decision, to take massive action to remove themselves from that environment, because they knew, like, hey, this environment is gonna either leave me dead or in jail. You know, like, think Sammy the Bull, like, he was committed to that environment and to that lifestyle, but I think he was static. And then he realized, hey, you know what? I'm static and I'm actually descending. So I need to take massive action to change this, because if not, it's gonna be bad. I don't know, massive action, man. Shit's real. Later, guys. We're heading back to Texas today. Gonna head back to Texas, hit the flight. Oh man, it's good. It's all good.